In the summer of 1526, the Kingdom of Hungary stood at the edge of disaster. For centuries, Hungary had been one of the great powers of Central Europe. A land of strong fortresses, proud cavalry, and powerful kings. It had long served as a defensive shield between the Christian kingdoms of Europe and the rising empires of the East. But by the early 16th century, that shield had begun to crack. Political divisions weakened the royal court. Powerful nobles controlled large territories and resisted the authority of the crown. The kingdom's treasury struggled to maintain its defenses, and many of the fortresses along Hungary's southern border had been neglected. Meanwhile, a new power had risen to the south. The Ottoman Empire. Under the rule of Sultan Suleiman I, known to history as Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottomans had become one of the most formidable forces in the world. Their armies were disciplined, professional, and supported by advanced artillery that could shatter medieval defenses. In 1521, the Ottomans captured the strategic fortress of Belgrade. With Belgrade gone, the gateway into Hungary lay open. Despite the growing threat, many within the Hungarian nobility believed their traditional cavalry forces would be enough to repel any invasion. They relied on the tactics that had served them for generations. Fast-moving knights and noble warriors charging across the battlefield. But warfare had changed. Artillery, firearms, and disciplined infantry formations were transforming how wars were fought. And Hungary was dangerously unprepared. In the spring of 1526, Sultan Suleiman assembled a massive army to march north. His forces included tens of thousands of soldiers, elite janissaries, cavalry units, engineers, and powerful cannons capable of destroying enemy formations. As the Ottoman army moved toward Hungary, towns and fortresses along the frontier fell quickly. News of the invasion spread across the kingdom, and Hungarian leaders scrambled to gather their forces. At the center of this effort was King Louis II, a young monarch only 20 years old. Though determined to defend his kingdom, Louis lacked experience and faced enormous pressure from rival noble factions. Nevertheless, an army was assembled to confront the advancing Ottomans. The Hungarian commanders made a critical decision. Rather than retreat deeper into the kingdom and prolong the war, they would meet the Ottoman army directly in open battle. The chosen battlefield lay near the town of Mohács, a flat plain in southern Hungary. Recent rains had softened the ground, leaving parts of the field muddy and unstable. Despite the risks, Hungarian commanders believed a decisive cavalry charge could break the Ottoman lines. Their strategy relied on speed and shock. If their heavily armored knights could smash into the Ottoman center quickly enough, they might force Suleiman's army into retreat. It was a plan rooted in medieval tradition. But the Ottomans had prepared for exactly this kind of attack. On August 29th, 1526, the two armies faced each other on the plains of Mohács. The Hungarian army advanced first. Rows of armored cavalry thundered forward across the field, lances lowered, banners flying in the wind. For a brief moment, it seemed as if their gamble might succeed. Hungarian forces slammed into the forward elements of the Ottoman army, pushing them back. But then the Ottoman artillery began to fire. Cannons roared across the battlefield, sending smoke and thunder through the advancing Hungarian lines. Horses panicked. Formations began to break. Behind the artillery stood the janissaries, the elite infantry of the Ottoman Empire. Trained, disciplined, and organized, they advanced methodically, firing volleys of gunfire into the disordered Hungarian troops. The battlefield quickly descended into chaos. Mud slowed the Hungarian cavalry. Units became separated. Communication between commanders broke down. As the Hungarian charge lost momentum, Ottoman forces counterattacked from multiple directions. The Hungarian army, already outnumbered, was gradually surrounded. Within less than 2 hours, the battle was effectively over. Thousands of Hungarian soldiers lay dead on the field. Noble commanders, knights, and soldiers alike had been cut down in the collapse. What had begun as a bold charge ended in devastating defeat. As the army disintegrated, King Louis II attempted to escape the battlefield with a small group of companions. Still young, still inexperienced, he now carried the weight of a kingdom collapsing around him. As they fled through the countryside, they came upon a small stream known as the Sail Creek. The ground was wet and unstable from the recent rains. As the king attempted to cross, his horse slipped in the mud. Louis fell from the saddle into the water below. Burdened by the heavy armor he wore, he struggled to rise. But the armor that had once symbolized his royal authority now dragged him beneath the surface. The young king drowned in the muddy waters of the creek. Later, his body was recovered. Hungary's ruler had died alone, not in the glory of battle, but in the quiet aftermath of defeat. With the king dead and the army destroyed, the road to the Hungarian capital lay open. Suleiman's forces continued their advance into the kingdom. The political chaos that followed shattered Hungary's unity. Without a strong monarch to lead it, the kingdom fractured. Hungary was soon divided into 3 separate regions. The central part of the country fell under direct Ottoman control. The western and northern territories came under the rule of the Habsburg dynasty. And in the east, the Principality of Transylvania emerged as a semi-independent state that balanced between Ottoman and Habsburg influence. For the next century and a half, much of Hungary would remain under Ottoman domination. The Battle of Mohács became one of the most defining moments in Hungarian history. It marked the end of medieval Hungary as a unified kingdom. Generations would remember it as a national tragedy, a moment when a powerful kingdom collapsed in a single afternoon. Yet despite the devastation, Hungary endured. Through centuries of occupation, division, and struggle, its culture and identity survived. The memory of Mohács would continue to shape the nation's history for centuries to come. Because while kingdoms may fall on the battlefield, the spirit of a people can survive long after the armies are gone.